Verasity, Multivac, and Trias are each waiting on Bitcoin to make its next move and break out of a range per the key levels that I've given in my recent Bitcoin analysis. At the end of this video, I'm going to link you to the 2 Bitcoin analysis videos that you need to know and get comfortable with the most, because Bitcoin is a primary indicator for each of these 3 assets. As we go along, feel free to use the tags down below to skip to your asset of choice, but make sure you have a good understanding of what Bitcoin's doing. And again, I'll link you to the 2 videos that you need in order to get the price right on Verasity, Trias, and Multivac. You ready? Let's get it.
Give me the thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Come on, I just beatbox for you. Give me a damn thumbs up before we get started. Let's go. We're going to start off with the Verasity. This asset really gets things pretty adequate towards what's going on with Bitcoin. My video from today on Bitcoin is more in line with this green question mark here, the one titled Hopium. And again, I'm going to link you that at the end of the video. And again, there's going to be tags for it down below. The more probable case still is the red question mark and the red vector down. The key lines here for support is 1.8 cents or 1.82. Let's just call it 1.8 cents. It's the top of the point of control of the bleed box that I have drawn here. Let's go ahead and make this yellow. That is the top of this box. That is the current support. And if I zoom out here, you can see that this green box is the happy range. This yellow box is an entirely different range. Let me take off these EMAs. It's the bleed box. This 1.8 cents is the top of the point of control, which really is a pretty strong support. And again, all you have going on right now, okay, let me go down to even the 1 hour time frame. All you have going on is support versus resistance. 1.8 cents, weekly 10 EMA. To put it on the weekly 10 EMA, even with the 1 hour chart, use the MTF EMA indicators that I've set up over here. I've shown you how to do that using the indicators that you can find up here, and you would want to star it. MTF EMA, throw on, seriously, make a line at 1.8 cents, Verasity fans. Throw on your weekly 10 EMA on any time frame using that MTF EMA. That's all you need. The range resolution for this will likely align with whatever Bitcoin does. And if Bitcoin gets a nice green question mark path, because there is some hopium, then you're going to see that specifically spell out with Verasity when price can get over the big bad boss number 1, which is the weekly 10. Big bad boss number 2 is coming in at 2.6 cents. That's where the happy range box meets the bleed box, and that is its own level of resistance right now. It was previous support. Look, support, future or previous support equals future resistance. So that's your big bad boss number 2. Support again is 1.8 cents. So these are the 3 things you need to know. 1.8 cents support. First line of defense for the bears is the weekly 10. That is changing day by day. Right now, it's currently at about 2.5 cents, but the price doesn't matter. It's the weekly 10. You don't put a price on it. You just roughly know where it is because you can look at it day by day. Big bad boss number 1. Big bad boss number 2 is 2.66 cents. 2.66. We'll go ahead and mark that off. And that is resistance number 2. Again, resistance number 1 is the weekly 10. Resistance number 2 is this horizontal here. And if Bitcoin can get the range resolution in the positive sense, even though it's improbable at this point, Verasity is very volatile. It might not do a traditional type of move. Traditional moves would be price comes above 1 or 2 of the resistance and uses them as support. Verasity doesn't really roll like that. On its way down, it does use things as support and then resistance, but on its way up, honestly, Verasity has the habit of maybe consolidating under resistance and then just screaming up 2 levels of resistance, and then coming back down to test it. It's going to be kind of tricky with Verasity Price because it's so volatile, because it's so explosive. But the key is, at some point, it needs to use one or both of these resistances. Again, the weekly 10 and this line here, 2.66 cents. You need to see it used as support at some point, but it might not do it softly. It might be explosive and then correct hard and then use it as support. And then that would mean that your your vector of your green vector up, it does become probable at that point. But again, Verasity is explosive. It doesn't quite navigate price in its charts the same way as a lot of other stuff. Really, Verasity is so volatile. It's more similar to XRP in some ways, especially on daily time frames and lower. Not necessarily in the macro sense, because XRP is kind of like a sleeping beast and it just goes bah, right? Every 4 years or something. Even though this cycle it didn't do pretty much anything. But Verasity is very volatile. Keep an eye on that, and that's really all you need to know until Bitcoin makes a decision. And the 2 videos that I'm going to link you at the end of this video, you need to pick your choice. Go ahead, and if you don't care about Multivac and or Trias, you can skip to that tag down there and pick your choice, and then we'll go from there. Let's jump on to Multivac. Multivac right now is in its bleed box. Interestingly enough, it has essentially 2 sets of ranges. It has a set of happy box range and it has a bleed box range. It is comfortably above the point of control, and I'm surprised it's doing this. I'm actually kind of impressed with Multivac Price right now. Verasity even has come all the way down to its bleed box. If you skipped over Verasity, came straight here, that's fine. But Verasity is a strong asset. Like it is, it's pretty good. But structurally, MTV is better off right now. It is closer to its happy range box, and Veracity's right here. Veracity's stuck here, and so this posturing is really quite interesting right now. It's using this little area, essentially the 3/4 box. It's using this as support, which this would be the 3/4 box of the bleed box, which is the yellow area here. And that is sort of a sign of strength. I'm not going to lie. So let's actually go ahead and put that back on there. And now let's throw on something. Let's go down to the 2-hour chart and throw on the weekly 10 EMA to see what we have brewing here and how much pressure down we have from the weekly 10. You know, similar to Verasity, you do have a level of support with the weekly 10 ever approaching it. And in the end, what is going to happen, and again, Bitcoin is, okay, Multivac fans who skipped here or whatever, you didn't hear my spiel on that. Bitcoin's your primary indicator. After you're done viewing this analysis, skip to the last tag of the video so you can choose which Bitcoin video you need to watch. Actually, you might want to watch both of them because it represents a question mark up or a question mark down on how this range, even on Multivac, is going to resolve itself. And for each case on Bitcoin being a primary indicator for Multivac, right? You need to understand what exactly you need to know for Bitcoin, because that's what's going to have a range resolution happen for Multivac, I promise you. And each video is the opposite case, so you know exactly what to look out for. Therefore, the support line, I would say the actual support line is the bottom area here. It's at 0059. Let's just call it 0059, 0.0059. That's the support. For every inch that the weekly 10 gets closer and closer to this line, the closer this is to resolving its range. Okay, the top of this blue box, or no, the bottom of this blue box is essentially the bottom of the range. And really, the weekly 10 is pretty far away. This has a big range, and this is really, really tradable. You know, if you were to see Multivac come back, you know, anywhere close to here, with the idea that Bitcoin isn't looking too weak, I mean, trading back to the upside closer to the weekly 10, that could be a 30% trade. Right now it's in the middle. I wouldn't recommend necessarily entering anything because price is in between the two areas, the weekly 10 and this bottom line. Entering trades near the middle of an area, you know, is probably not the best idea. So I personally wouldn't recommend that, at least per my trading style. But Multivac isn't looking that bad right now, and I'm honestly pretty impressed with its structuring. And from a purely structural macro standpoint, per its all-time high and its lows and all that stuff, it's structurally more sound than the other 2 assets that I'm covering in this video. But what you're going to have here is essentially a squeeze play. Let's take off these. Let's take off the macro ranges and just deal with this. And I might even make this a little. I'll just go like this. Watch the weekly 10 coming down, 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 closer, 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 and you're going to have at this, as price gets squeezed and squeezed in here, something like this, This is where it's got to make its mind up. Is late March, early April, just like Verasity. I mean, pretty much just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually might make its mind up closer to here, late March or mid-March. So the range resolution is probably going to happen somewhere over here. And what you're going to have is two possibilities per the two Bitcoin videos I want you to watch, after you're done watching this. And again, you could skip to the tags, the last tag of this video. You have a green, question mark up, a vector up, range resolution to the upside, or a potential range resolution to the downside. And really, Bitcoin is going to be your key on figuring out which way this is going to fly. Is it going to fly down? Is it going to fly up? But either way, roughly it's going to happen in mid to late March or as early April within that 15 to 20 day time frame. But this is what's happening. This is all you really need to watch right now. It's three things. This bottom line at 0.0059, the weekly 10, and Bitcoin. That's it. And it's likely just going to chop around here, but this is a big tradable range, right? You can trade this range. Absolutely, it's a very tradable range. You can play around with this asset until then, but just know those are the three things you need to be looking out for. And again, for those of you who aren't going to watch the Trias portion of this, go ahead and skip to the end and pick one of the two Bitcoin videos, but I suggest you watch them both so you know exactly what to look out for in both cases, whether you're going to get a green arrow or a red arrow. Let's go on to Trias. All right, Trias fans who skipped here, again, near the end of this video, right after you're done watching this segment of the video, you need to pick one of those two Bitcoin videos that I'm going to watch, because you're going to have a range resolution of Trias near the beginning of April. Okay, mid-March to early April, you're going to have a range resolution of either a big downward move or a big upward move, and the primary indicator for which direction this is going to pick is going to be Bitcoin. Therefore, if you haven't followed, the two of the recent videos I made for Bitcoin, I've made a hopium case and a very midterm time frame, and just overly bearish case, and I give you specific exact things to look out for so that you can watch just Trias and Bitcoin back and forth. You know exactly what to look out for, and I'll link you to both those at the end. I suggest you watch both of them if you haven't already. All right. This Trias is a little slumpier than both Verasity and Multivac. I'm not going to lie. You don't have a definite support zone. I mean, it's already below its previous support. It's not quite the same squeeze play. The other two assets are essentially holding something like this as support and bouncing on it, right? And now, if you zoom way in here, Trias is using it as resistance. So Trias looks like it's getting slumpy, and it's going to head back down to $3. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like, even if Bitcoin doesn't roll over. Trias is looking pretty weak, but regardless, somewhere around $3 even to the weekly 10 in this area, from $3 to the weekly 10 is your general, range right now. The trajectory is heading towards $3. If it's going to turn around, it has to get over the weekly 10, and that explosion is likely going to happen around mid to late March, maybe early April. And keep an eye on Bitcoin and Trias's weekly 10 and the $3 line are the three things you need to watch out for. The $3 line, the weekly 10, and Bitcoin price, and all the things that I'm going to link you to at the end of this video. But Trias is looking pretty slumpy right now. It can't even, it can't even get up to the weekly 10. I know a lot of people are trying to trade this right now, but if you like Trias, as weird as it sounds, and I think somebody who joined a live call and did a super chat, one of my live calls, I even, and I guess he actually ended up jumping into the community, the Discord community. And again, links to the Discord community in the description section of all my videos if you want to turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly live, and then share your screen so I can make sure and verify on your chart that you've done things similar to how I suggested. You can find that pretty helpful. It's up to 8 live calls a week for the higher tiers, and 2 for the lowest tier, and 4 for the middle tier. Anyway, on this chart though, if you're trading Trias, there are other, if you like Trias, it might be better to trade other things and accumulate, like Tether or whatever, so that you can buy more Trias once there is something else going on besides slumpiness. To trade this to get more Trias is one thing, but you could potentially get more Trias by trading something else and then dumping those profits into Trias. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. However, this isn't too difficult to trade, but you can't short it. The best way to trade this right now would be to short it, but you can't make money off of a short on this asset. Therefore, that's why I'm kind of making the loose suggestion to myself personally. I'm not necessarily suggesting to my viewers. However, if I were interested in Trias, suggesting to myself, I would accumulate Trias by trading something else and dumping the profits into this, or holding on to that to buy Trias at lower key levels. That would be my suggestion. This is just really, really slumpy. It's not difficult to trade, but you can't trade it the way you should be trading because you can't short it. That's as simple as that. All right, the Hopium video, the exact key levels you need to know if we're going to get an upward green arrow, click this video right here. For the more bearish and more probable case as of now, you need to watch this video right here because Bitcoin is your primary indicator for these three assets. And if you're new to my channel, click the circle in the middle. You just get Timified worldwide. Peace.